Okay, I'd like to welcome all of you to another one of our paid um, co-founder trainings that we do on Mondays and Thursdays. It happens to be Thursday, February 26th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me just adjust my lighting real quick here. I can see that I got like a glow behind me here.
Morning, everyone. Good morning, Sir Hunter, Sir Ace.
Hello, welcome.
Everybody.
All right, come back. That should be better. Okay, good deal. Let me do a little content. Let me just put a little background on me here. I just came out of some training on how to create digital products using AI. And we just finished up our fourth day today, right before this. So I've been going bam, bam, bam. And I never heard of WAP until I ran into this training, and it was an eye opener. Um, you know, the presenter was showing a way to create basically, have AI do everything as far as uh, coming up with a product idea, um, creating the product, packaging the product, and then the final step would be uploaded to like a platform like WAP to distribute the product. So, have you guys ever heard of WAP? Never heard of that?
No,
It's
no.
But that's about it.
it's like the word hop with a W in front of it, like or like the Burger King Whopper, right? So WHOP.
I've heard of WAP.
Yeah, check them out because they're blowing it up, and obviously, uh, digital space is huge as far as margins and everything go, potential, whatever. Yeah, it's definitely one of those platforms you should be aware of. So, I want to tie all this into what we're doing because I think what we have is a group of people that are already determined to be very, very successful, that have a lot more years of wisdom and experience than a set of teenagers, right? So you can tell that sometimes the teenagers come across a bit overconfident or arrogant, and sometimes that pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But the rest of us here are way beyond our teenage years, right? So what we're doing in the new coin community, we're going to do something very, very big. And we have the element of crypto, which is going to make it huge. So, and that means that those of you that are going to be more or less the original founders of this new coin, there's, I figured maybe at the end of the day, it's going to be about 400 of us coming together. We'll come in strong with all of our ideas, and we'll build from there. Okay. So, all right. So I mentioned to all of you on the last call that I was going to tell you about like a straight line type of thing that people just go underneath each other, just in one straight line. And then I've already given it the name legs, and that could be a product, if you will, inside of this new coin community. Okay. Let me go ahead and announce that on Tuesday, let me check the date on that. I think it's the 4th. No, it's the 3rd, March 3rd. Okay, so on March 3rd, Tuesday, March 3rd, we're going to have our first new coin community, and you have to be on Hunter's list that you've already paid, right? So that's make sure he's got the right list. That'll be our first meeting, okay? Because Hunter's going to be he's going to be the chief over this new coin community, okay? All right. So that's coming up next week. And I'm excited. I'm excited to move forward with the idea that I have here. And I think the first thing we want is to create a marketplace, you know, and inside that marketplace, this legs idea I'm going to tell you more about today. That's going to fit right into, you know, into the marketplace. So, so that's good. So, how many of you are excited about that first meeting?
I am.
Yep.
I am.
Okay.
Definitely.
So I almost wish
Yes, definitely.
I
I,
am.
I almost wish we had a
I am.
cameraman here, you know, that could kind of get some of these moments and document them because we're gonna make history is what we're gonna do. Okay. And it would be fun if we were had a way to kind of document building that together. But we'll use Zoom and YouTube for now as a way of kind of putting out this is where we're going, how we're getting there. But there's definitely lots of things that happen behind the scenes that are also very, very interesting. So, all right. Now I've got quite a few announcements to make, so I think I want to get those out of the way first. And then before I do that, I'd like to go ahead and open up the chat for all those that, are here for paid training. You can put your wallet address in now. Let's go ahead and open that up, Hunter. Everybody's putting their wallet address in to get paid. Okay, so obviously use the correct wallet address. We've talked about that before. All right, so lots of things going on. I wanted to show you something before I did the recording, but I can't now because now we're recording. So, but we did create a tool for the executive team to reach out to basically the top 500 holders of PML. Okay, because those are going to be the people we're inviting into the new coin. Okay, and you have to have a minimum of 0.0001. Okay, so that's how much PML coin that you need to have minimum in order to be invited. So basically, we're taking the top 500 of you. So I think when you look at the top 500, at the bottom of the list, when I looked last time, it was 0.000, three zeros and a two. So 0002. So technically, one was the minimums on the onset, but let's just see what happens. Okay. Uh, Time is short, and we're gonna the people that we're gonna reach out to the top 500, and the executive teams are gonna be making sure that people are given clear direction that hey, you have a wonderful opportunity here since you have been faithful and true, and you've been kind to the community by not selling prematurely. Then your reward is you're being able to be part of this new coin. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's see here. Let me go into Telegram here. Let me share my screen. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to walk you through a formula here. Okay. Let's see here. Wall of Joy, medium. Let's go with this one here. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Yep.
How much is your PML position worth in the new coin? Do the math. Here's the formula to figure out how many new coins you can get. Okay. So you're going to first take the number of PML coins that you're holding. Okay, now you might be holding PML in your wallet, and maybe some of it now is in the holding bucket on the website. Maybe some of it is tied up in existing loans, right? But you basically need to add all that up, and then that will give you a total number, right? And you divide that by 5. Okay, now 5 is based on just how many coins really are circulating that are not, basically admin wallets. Okay, so if you take the, 900 users of PML and you look at what they got among themselves and you add it all together, it's about 5 coins. Okay. Now, we don't necessarily think that all 5 of these coins are, people are going to, represent every single part of it. So this number could end up being 4. So realize that this is just an example of about what you can expect. Okay. So you take the number of coins that you have and you divide it, right? So like the division problem is right here. You see that there? You divide it. Okay. 000 divided by 5, and it comes back with an answer with 4 zeros. Okay, so don't confuse the coins that you're holding against the portion that it represents. Okay, that's the portion. So the 0.00002, that's like a slice of pie. That's the size of your pie. Okay. Okay. Now you take that slice of pie and then put it onto a bigger pie. 5 is the size of this pie, but the other pie is 1 billion. Okay, so you take that and change pies. And so basically that 0.00002 ends up being 20,000 coins, whole coins. Does that make sense, guys? Right? Your number of PML coins you hold divided by 5 PML coins in the whole pie. Then take that number, times it by 1 billion new coins. Then take that number and times it by $1,000 value per coin. Okay, so the final calculation would be that 20,000 coins times 1,000, and that equals $20 million, you know. So worst case scenario, you're looking at when you join in the new coin, it's a $20 million value, and you're able to access that for only one time $100. Okay, and that's what you access that. Okay. Now I had some of the executive team do this calculation one by one, and like half of them were billionaires. Okay, not millionaires, billionaires. Okay, so they were pretty excited about that. All right, now let's see here. Okay, let's make that big. So this is a huge value, and what it basically means is that you're positioning yourself to basically get the lion's share of what this user group is going to turn into. Just imagine a community of 400 being the core team, okay? And from that core team, we bring in people who bring in people. Those would be users of the coin, users of the marketplace and whatnot inside of the community. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So basically, when we refer to the community, we're really basically referring to the founders. Okay. The founders and the community in this case are the same people. And it's going to be those people that opt in. Okay. So let me show you what I mean by opting in. All right. So opting in is as simple as going to our pool funding website and then click on community coin offer. Okay. Right there. Click on that. And then you click the pay button and it'll bring up your wallet and it'll take $100 out of your wallet, USDT, and you're good. It also tells you how many coins you have. So if you're wondering how many coins you have, that's how many coins that are in your wallet. It doesn't tell you how many coins that are sitting in your PML website, but at least tells you how much you got in your wallet. So that's what it's reading there. Okay, you can always go to your wallet and you can add together whatever you're holding, your wallet, whatever loans you still have out. Okay, you can add that up if you want to. But the idea is, I want you guys to realize that we're not talking small numbers. Okay. Now, one of the problems that, let's just say, older people have is that we get trained to think more small. Okay. We get beat down, if you will, decade after decade to think smaller and smaller and smaller. And then these teenagers come along and they blow it up in a year, and and reach a, $1 billion worth of sales in a year. And these guys are teenagers. You can see by the way that they talk and the way that they act. Many of them, they don't seem to have any, polish, right? They're just kind of, at that, kind of what you expect a bunch of kids on skateboards, the way they would talk, communicate. So when you watch that documentary, you're like, wow, here's these kids that literally they just hop off their skateboard and they're making their first $1 million, and they're part of a $1 billion deal, you know, and some of them haven't even reached 20 years old, so uh well, this is the thing. I need all of you to let that inspire you to expand your mind into the numbers I'm showing you, because this value is a real value. Okay, we're talking about real values here. Okay, so and then with that will come the opportunity to mine, right? So imagine like you have a gold mine and your gold mine might be worth $500 million, Joe. Let me just throwing out a number. Okay, so let's say Joe's gold mine, what the value of his coins, okay, is 500 million on day one. That wouldn't be bad, right? A half a billion, right, on day one.
Yep.
But it's a gold mine. And so, yeah, if you did absolutely nothing, it'd probably go up in value, right? Because there's 400 of us working together. See, this is an advantage of coming together instead of each one of us doing this separately. Does that make sense, guys? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So some of us, we're going to be slow starters, but some of us, Hunter, right? We're not going to be slow starters. We're going to roll out there with something to offer, and then that's going to produce positive buying pressure on the coin, right? Okay.
Exactly.
So that's what you got to see. And then ultimately, there's going to be several options here. So if we fast forward 3, 4, 5 years from now, some of you might just choose an exit strategy. Like, I've got the gold mine. I haven't done much with it. I met Charlie over here. Man, Charlie's a sharp cookie. He wants to buy me out. And then Charlie gets presented to the 400 and say, can we let Charlie take over this position? Can we have, and then boom, a transaction is done. Maybe it's $1 million deal. Maybe it's a $10 million deal, but whatever it is, Charlie has the ability to buy him out. Right. And the original community would agree on it. Right. That's one option. Right. That'd be the laziest option. Let's just put it that way. Right. That's the option of like, you know, practically do nothing and expect everything kind of option. But hey, that option, certainly is one that's available because it's an equity position. We're talking about equity here. Okay. So, yeah, even though the cost here is so small, only $100 to access this level of equity, please don't take that small $100 as a value statement. It's just a tiny filter to keep out people who are going to slow us down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just a tiny filter.
Yes.
That's the purpose of that $100. It's going to filter out
Hmm.
the people that are going to obviously slow us down. It's going to be the negative people, the people just have no belief in me, no belief in themselves, no belief in probably anything, right? And they just through that lack of belief, they're not going to take $100 out of their pocket. No way. You know what I'm saying? Okay, thank you for staying out. Okay, we don't want you anyway. We want people to have just some belief in all of what we're doing here and recognize that things don't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built, in a day, you know what I'm saying? And blah, blah, blah. Okay. So is this new community coin getting more exciting as I continue to talk about it?
Yes.
Yes.
Sí, sí,
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Very
sí,
good.
amigo.
All right, switch back to community view here. So, okay. We already know that AI, robots, we know the revolution's on. Okay. There's no stopping it. The tech revolution marches forward, whether you're ready or not. And we know this is going to, this is going to impact jobs probably the most massive way possible. Literally, there could literally be some companies that have no human employees that are billion-dollar companies. That is possible. Okay. Crazy when you think about it, huh? It's possible.
Very crazy.
But that is the potential here with this technology for the people that understand that it's happening with or without you, without your, with your resistance, without your resistance, it's happening. Okay. So there's no way to stop it. And should we stop it? Some people might argue, yeah, because there are dangerous, parts to the idea of what we're talking about here. But on the other hand, I think there's something divine happening here, that it's allowing humanity to go to the next level, and that this is kind of like a tool that needs to be inserted at this time, and it's all happening for a good reason. Okay. And that's what I trust in. At the end of the day, everything's happening for us, because of the love of it all. Okay. So knowing that, um, there's going to be this huge movement into home-based business. Okay. I think that we're going to see the all-time high, if you will, of home-based business. And by the way, commercial property owners are pretty much aware of this as well. They know that commercial properties are way overbuilt. People don't want to go to an office if they don't have to. Am I right or am I right?
Yes.
Agreed.
Okay. If they can just stay home and work, fine. If they can stay home and not have to work but still make money, fine. Okay. But either way, that serves the people.
Okay, this
Okay.
is a 51-minute video.
All right. So we know that that this is all happening. It's going to happen fast. We're not talking about a 15 to 20 year rollout. We're looking at more like a 2 to 5 year rollout. Okay, for this massive change in people not having a job and then finding themselves in a position where the job that they were trained to do no longer exists. You know, right? Like these jobs will literally disappear because people that pay the bills are gonna say, well, gee, this tool, whether it's AI, robot, or a combination of the two, this tool can outproduce a human at a microscopic amount of money compared to what you'd have to pay a human to do the same thing. You see, that's what's that is the nature here. Okay. You have to recognize the reality. So what does that mean? Then that means that people are going to have to finally let go of this idea, the old idea that, that a job equals stability. Okay. Some people are still hanging on to that idea. Wouldn't you guys agree? Some people are hanging on, holding on tight, but it's
Yep,
futile.
you bet.
It's futile, right? And this whole idea that you have to climb a corporate ladder, you know what I'm saying? Again, bogus. It doesn't, so much of the, current, established systems of the world, they're already antiquated in light of this massive change that is in front of us. Okay. So that means it's a great opportunity. And what that means is that there's going to be more people than ever that are going to be trying to find a way to make money outside of a job, which basically means home-based business. Would you guys agree?
Yep.
You got to do something from home. Okay. Okay. So let me take a survey. I hope all of you put your wallet address in for the paid training, but let me do a survey now. Put your address in there. Okay. Let me do a little survey of you guys. I want to do from 0% to 100%. Okay. So you guys tell me the percentage. I'm going to ask the question. Okay. So your job is to put the percentage into the chat. And I want as much participation as possible. Here's the question. People in home-based businesses, what percent of them will need leads? In other words, people to talk to. What percent of them are going to need leads? What percentage are those people are going to need leads?
And 100%.
Mhm. I mean, there's like a million different ways to do business from home. Okay. So I think a lot of you are not correct in saying 100%, but I'm glad that you're saying 100%. Okay. Yeah, some people will figure out how to do everything without having to deal with people at all, but that's usually not the case. Okay. Usually you're gonna have to put some kind of a team together one way or another for one reason or another. Okay. You're gonna need people to talk to for that reason. Okay. All right. So would you guys agree the market for home-based business leads, that's a huge market. Would you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So let me share my idea. Legs. Okay. But let me ask you another question before I share it. How many of you are tired of giving up your time for free because someone else wants to put their idea in front of you? How many are tired of that?
I am.
Okay. There's no shortage of stuff out there for people to put in front of you. Am I right? There's
Yeah,
there's there's
indeed.
there's there's just way too much to look at, be honest with you. So, how many of you value your time and your attention? How many do you value that? Do you value your time and your attention?
I do.
Should you get paid for it?
Yes.
Should that be a new should that be a new product, if you will, in the digital world that we're going into, that you are willing to sell, let's say a bit of your time? Let's say 5 minutes of your time. Okay?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. And what if you could advertise? Yeah, I'll look at your stuff, but it's going to cost you this much for 5 minutes of my time. Okay. And that's it. If you somehow get more than 5 minutes on me, it's because I'm actually interested in what you've got to share, you know? So if you can succeed getting past 5 minutes, then you might be onto something. But on the other hand, um, one of the things people need to do, they need to network. In this world that isolates us so much, the need for networking is like a cofactor here that I think is valuable because yeah, isolation can be devastating if it gets out of hand. Okay. So but yeah, what if people could select you based on, little things like your country, a picture of you, um, how much 5 minutes of your time is worth, something like that. How many of you would like people to be able to look at profiles like that and then decide whether to reach out to you or not? How does that sound?
Sounds
But
pretty
your
good.
character plays a lot
Yep.
into it also.
What's that?
Your character plays a lot into it also, your
Oh,
demeanor.
I agree. A profile like a self, a bio or self description, yeah, or current interests, something like that. So it's a little space to write something about yourself. But basically, at a glance, when people are looking at things at a glance, you know, they're going to look at things and they're going to base it on their current situation, whatever that might be. Okay. So there you go. I think there's a great deal of value there. Now, would you give 5 minutes to anybody if they have an opportunity? Would you give them 5 minutes if they paid you up front?
Yes, I would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if they pay up
would.
front.
Sure.
Is there anybody that wouldn't? Is there anybody that wouldn't do that? No? Okay. All right. So there you go.
It
So
depends on the situation, Ace.
what
Because
what
sometimes somebody might need you more than what you may need them as far as needing help. I'm a helper. I'm
uh
willing to help people.
okay.
So you may have somebody that may need your help, but you don't want to offer, you don't want them to pay you for your time. And that's just me. That's just my thought pattern.
Uh
I'm not going to ask somebody to pay me for my time when I know they need help.
right. Now, I appreciate where you're coming from, Darlene, and that big heart of yours, and I love it. I love that you're putting that out there. And that's your choice, right? But if you have 45 people that all want the same 5 minutes, how would you decide, who needs your help more than the others, right? So this is one of those things that we help people all the time anyway, right? But I think it'd be nice to get paid for our times. If we don't know anything about an opportunity before someone starts to go blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying? you know, then maybe they should pay for 5 minutes of our time. Now, I say 5 minutes to be reasonable. You know what I'm saying? So that should be all. It shouldn't take longer than that to see if it has the potential of going somewhere. Am I right?
I understand where you're coming from. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So it's not suggesting that you should, sell all of your time in chunks of 5 minutes so you have no time left to help people that want to help. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, that probably won't. That's probably not going to happen. But based on what my idea here for legs, what if you got one or two offers a week for someone to pay you for your time? You know, right? That'd be nice, right? Wouldn't it?
Yes, that would be good.
Okay. And maybe it might be more than that, but at least they're paying for your time and what you think your time is worth. Okay. Now that might depend on where you live, you know? Like we got Fiona, you're in Ecuador, right? Okay. Now the peso goes pretty far there in Ecuador. Did he use the peso there?
No, we use the dollar actually.
Oh, you're using the dollar. Okay. But does the dollar stretch a lot more there than it does in
Way
the
more.
US?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, she might be willing to, charge only $5 for 5 minutes of her time. You know what I'm saying? And she'd be quite happy with that, perhaps. I'm just putting a number out there, right? Because
Perhaps.
because 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 she lives in Ecuador, right? But if you live in New York City, you know what I'm saying, if that's where you reside, you know, could you really afford to give away 5 minutes of your time for only $5? You're probably going to charge
Yeah.
more. Am I right? For 5 minutes of your time. But then
That's
again,
correct. You're right.
Right.
but then again, you know, a person that's in New York, you know, they're around a lot more people than a person in Ecuador, right? So, you know, just the geography and the landscape and, you know, populations and all that. So these are factors. So if you knew where a person was, or if you knew, you know, and whatever, just a simple thing, and you could maybe click on it and get a little more information, and then you could decide to reach out to them, okay, and say, "I'll pay you for your time. I got something I want to put in front of you." Then that person gets a notification, and they set up a time to meet, and then you know, obviously Zoom, a face-to-face Zoom would be the ideal meeting place, okay, that we'll recommend. And then as soon as the meeting starts, then it says, "Okay, now you can go ahead and pay me." So then they're going to click pay. So the funds will get released over to the person that's going to give their time, and then the person that receives the funds is, they you know, well, it's on the blockchain, so it'll show that the money was sent. Okay, so the money was sent for the person's time. Pretty simple way. We could program that, no problem. Okay. All right. Now, if you are okay, let me ask you this question. Is there anybody here that's doing other things, maybe other home-based businesses, if you will, other than pool funding stuff? Anybody else doing anything else besides pool funding?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Would you like some leads for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So this is just a way to make it happen. So then, you know, it allows the community to flow a little bit more, and then let people, uh, you know, you know, it's human the way we're going to go about this. Okay. So yeah, and there's going to be people from the outside. Could we expand the community, or could we expand the user base of this marketplace and this opportunity in it legs? Could we expand it by going outside and in the world and look for people that have a need for leads? Do you think we could tell them about this and say, hey, you know, instead of paying for random leads, how would you like, you know, to have access to a place that you can get leads, and at least you have some information about them, and you're selecting your leads, and then you're paying the person for their time, which gives you, like, you know, a good audience, because, you know, people that are getting paid to listen tend to listen a little better while they're being paid. That's just kind of a human nature thing. Would you guys agree?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. So it works on both sides. It works on the guy that wants to share 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, or gal, you know, people. But it works for the people that want to share 5 minutes of their time here and there to people that might have something to offer. Because you don't know until you know. You know what I'm saying? Until someone says, "Hey, do you know about this?" Well, maybe you never heard of that, right? I mean, if someone paid you, you know, for 5 minutes of your time to tell you about it, you probably feel good about that, right? So it works on that side of it. Yes, right?
Yep.
And on the other hand, what if you could get access to 100 profiles for $20? How's that sound?
Awesome.
Sounds pretty competitive.
All right, so you're not going to have any contact information. You're just going to have, like I said, the country, the picture, you know, maybe right down to, you know, the you know, the city or whatever that they might be in, you know. So you maybe you have an idea of where they're located, and you can take a look at their picture, and they've written something up about themselves. And either what they wrote, it inspired you to want to pay them what they're asking or not, right? And then it's your choice to pay it or not. Okay. And go ahead, Hunter. You got a hand up.
Yeah, one thing I might suggest in that stead is that if someone wants to only talk to people from a certain country or a certain city or what have you, that we could also have an option for that if they're willing to pay more.
Right. There could be premium options for sure. Yeah. But right now we're talking about legs right now. So we're talking about legs. So the idea is that as people join, okay, they're going to join in one straight leg. Okay. So and then that creates a hundred profiles at a time. Does that make sense, guys? So
Yes.
it'll be just so that's how it's going to be ordered. Okay. And so everybody gets their shot, if you will, right? So if someone above you, that's less than 100 above you, they have a shot of reaching out to you and making you an offer, to pay you for your time. And the 100 people below you, you're in a position to make an offer to them to pay them for their time. Okay? See how that works? Okay? But what if we made an affiliate program out of this where we charge $20 and 50% of the $20 goes to you when you refer somebody to come be a part of this? How's that sound? So every time they pay for 100 of these, okay? Every time they pay for 100, then you get $10. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
That sounds good?
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And all you're doing is you're just basically referring people to come join it, and then you get like a passive stream of income from it. Every time they pay $20, you get 10 of it instantly because it's blockchain, right? The payment can be split. So as they make their payment, it splits, right? Now, all of this is done with the new coin. Now we don't have a name for the new coin, so we're just calling it the new coin. Okay. Perhaps we'll throw a few ideas around on Tuesday for the name of it, because by the time we get to the 15th, we'd like to probably have that worked out by that point of March. So they have to buy the new coin. In order to pay the $20, they got to buy $20 of the new coin. Okay. And in order for them to pay people for their time, they're going to have to buy the new coin in order to pay them. How's that sound?
Interesting.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
it sounds pretty good.
that's gonna put some positive buying pressure on the coin. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So see, I'm telling you the whole idea here. Okay. That's the idea. And that's just gonna be one of probably multiple ideas that I'll probably roll into the community. Okay. And each one can be a revenue stream. So obviously $10 goes to me, $10 goes to the sponsor that referred the person, right? And that's how it would work. And then I'm, as one of the 400, I'm just using 400 because I figure we're going to be around that number. As one of the 400, I've got all my coins over here, and I've got one coin in my wallet, but I can't touch that. Can't touch that coin in the wallet. There's going to be one coin in the market for a while, okay? And we're all going to have to buy it up. We're all going to have to buy little bits and pieces of it, and that's going to do what to the price?
Drive it up.
Going to go up.
To the moon.
It's going to go up. But what we'll do is, I'll just tell you right now that I think the most sensible thing to do is that, we can buy and sell that coin on the market as much as we want, as long as we never touch the other coin that's in our wallet until the community says it's okay. Okay, make sense, guys? So
Yes.
we'll play with only one coin. There'll be 400 of us playing with one coin, right? And it's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, because you'll be able to, the ace coin go up and down, up and down, up and down, because we're buying and selling it. Some of you are going to come in and speculate, like, I'm going to try and buy this thing cheap and then sell, make some money on a trade. That'll be fine, because it's just one coin, right? And at some point, it's gonna kind of gel. We're like, okay, the 400 come together and say, you know what? If we all put in 1% of our one coin, if we take 1% of it and put that also into the market, okay, then all of us are accountable to keep 99% of that one coin, over here. And then we can do whatever we want with the other coins that that we're buying and selling or whatever, based on the different opportunities that we're doing. Does that make sense? I'm trying to take something that's a little complicated and simplify it, So
Not
am I
fully.
doing a good job?
Not fully.
Not full. I knew it was complicated. So, but the idea is that this new coin is going to be more free to buy and sell, because there's only going to be one in the market. Okay, so there's going to be 1 billion coins, but 999,999,999 of them are going to be split into the wallets, not the wallets, but it's going to be allocated to the 400, and then each of the 400 are all going to have one coin per wallet, right? Each of them will have one coin in their wallet, and then we don't touch that until the market's got so much demand that it makes sense to add little bits of that one coin in, and eventually a whole coin, all 400 of those coins end up getting added into the market, right? But it's done slowly and it's done methodically, so that we protect the value of the coin. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So something we've learned.
Somewhat.
But what's great about this new coin is that we'd be able to buy and sell it, freely for hopefully forever, from day one. As long as the price of the coin doesn't go below 1,000 per coin, we should be fine. Unless the 400 come together and say, you know what, 1,000 is too low, let's make it 5,000. Or maybe later to come in, let's make it 10,000. It depends on what the 400 say together. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
but the floor will be 1,000. But see, it's very difficult to make it go below that if there's lots of reasons for people to buy the coin. Okay, as long as there's positive buying pressure, and we could come up with a multitude of ideas, and each person could be working on their own thing to add into the marketplace. Okay, and then there you go. That's each of those items should be by design a way to add buying pressure, okay, to the coin, this new coin, and really demonstrate what can be done. Okay, because it's time to demonstrate this. Okay. All right. I forgot to tell you some of the things about the programmer, but let me just show you guys something. Programmer's been overwhelmed doing these. Are you guys glad the red thing is gone?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
All right. Notice here that there's a holding area. That's new, right? So that's new. Okay. But this is not simple. It is, it's not 3 lines of code here. There's, there's a whole bunch of, like, if this, then that, da 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 da, da code that, it's very complicated. And it took them time to really make this, okay, to get it done. Okay, so that's there. Then the next thing we need to do is we're going to take all of the lens. You see all of these lens right here? We're gonna guarantee all of them out. Okay, every one of these, all of them, they're all going to get guaranteed out. So when we get finished programming the way it needs to be programmed, none of this is going to go into people's wallets. All of it goes into all of it will go into the the respective holding for each user. Okay, it's going to go in the respective holding area here, where there's no way for them to drive the price down, because they don't have access to the market here. What the coins sitting here are not connected to the market in any way, so they can't push the price down. So it would be safe to put all of it there for now, and we're going to keep loading up the holding area. We're going to load it up up until we get to 2 million, and then we can then change the rules. The rules that will be changed to will be like, if you have over $6,000 here, whatever is over 6,000 can be moved over to the wallet. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, but we got to keep above the price floor of $1.5 million per coin. Otherwise, everything goes back into holdings, and that's a way to kind of train the community to behave properly when it comes to managing the price of the coin. Okay. So, yeah, so some of you are concerned about, little things, but as you go and change code, a code that's been changed could also impact other areas and then create bugs. And then those things need to be debugged, right? And so some of you, I noticed in some of the comments on Telegram, some of you have demonstrated some lack of patience, okay, as far as I'm concerned, you know, and I really would hope that you be more patient and to realize that I do 2 meetings a week. That means I'm only away from you for 2 days, maybe 3 days, and then we're meeting again, right? So if you think about it, right? So like next time I'm gonna meet with you will be on Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's only 3 days. When I meet with you on Monday and we come back together on Thursday, then it's Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I'm meeting with you again. So so sometimes because I meet with you so often, it might not feel like things are moving very fast. It's only because we meet so often, and that's what you need to realize is that coding does take time. Okay, and until AI actually is able to create code exactly the way you want it by just talking to it, like on Star Trek, until we get there. We still need we got 2 programmers, by the way, but our main one has been with us from day one. So and we've been working together, and he's working as fast as he can and trying to make sure you get you all paid on paid trainings, and he's got a lot he does every day for us. So I hope you guys appreciate it. Man, it does take time to get it all done. We're moving pretty quick. Believe it or not, we're actually moving pretty quick. And so I know all of us are relieved to see the red thing go away. And I told you what was going to happen before it was going to happen, that there's going to be this bucket. We're going to put the coins in it. That's that holding area. Now you can see the bucket. You can see it. It's there. And then the next thing that's going to happen, we're going to take all the existing lens and they're going to guarantee them out. That'll make a bunch of you happy. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. All right. So, and there you go. So yeah, everything's going to work out great. Um, just realize that we're getting there as fast as we can. But in the meantime, you would just be silly not to come up with $100 to be a part of the 400. Am I right? So you want to do
Yeah.
Yep,
that. You want to do that as quickly as possible. And if you're
that's correct.
if you haven't done it, if you haven't done it before Tuesday, then you're not going to be in the meeting with us on Tuesday, right? We're not looking for wannabes, okay? We're looking for people that are, you know, part of the deal. And at some point we cut it off, probably the 15th of March, we cut it off and just say, okay, you had notice. And so, this is how many of us are going to create this community together. And that number will be solid at that point. and then that's it. So the sooner you pay, the better. Okay, it's very, very important. And then remember back on January 15th, I said what we need is momentum. I'm not seeing it yet. On many levels, my analysis of the community, I'm looking for community momentum. I see leadership. I definitely see that. And I could name off names, but I won't because I don't want to, embarrass people. But I see leadership here, but I don't see momentum yet. Okay. And I do appreciate those of you that are leading by example and you're making a buy. Now look at it this way. Whatever you can accumulate in PML between now and when we set up the new coin, for every dollar, you're leveraging about $1 million. Okay? If you do the math, $1 gets you $1 million of the new coin. How's that sound?
Ooh, that sounds good.
Incredible.
$1 of PML gets you $1 million in the new coin. So every day you should be buying PML, at least $1, right? And that helps that, if we had 400 of you, then I'd be like, oh, I see momentum. If we had 400 of you buying PML every day, I'd be like, okay, we got momentum, right? And this is what I'm looking for. I am looking for momentum. All right. So there you go. We want to create that momentum so it'll shake loose all the other stuff that we want to get moving on as well. Scott, you got your hand back up, buddy, from Thailand.
Yeah. So, a slight objection.
Sure, go ahead. Object.
I think it's unfair actually to restrict people from the new community meetings just because they haven't paid yet when the actual deadline is the 15th of March. I'm definitely going to be in, but I'm waiting till nearer the deadline for my own reasons,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be left out of the meeting. So why restrict people with if you've got a deadline of the 15th, then that should be the deadline.
It's the first meeting, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of dynamics here. So you refer to fairness on, what you're talking about is fairness, right? So
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
That's the point of view you're taking is it fair? And the other side could look at it the other way, using fairness they could look at it. Is it really fair that someone that didn't pay is able to get in for something I've already paid for? You know what I'm saying? So they could use the same
Yeah,
fairness argument on the other side. But hear me out, because there's 2 points.
yeah, cool.
So there's fairness, and on the other hand, we need the cash flow right now. Okay, cash flow is important, right, for the operation, right? So it supports yours truly in moving things forward, right? Because I'm going in and I'm buying the PML coin as much as I can, but there's a flow that I'm counting on here. Okay, so if the flow comes to a trickle, then I'm kind of have to fold my arms and wait for the community to support me so that I can support, pushing the coin up. But sometimes a lot of you only dedicate to putting $1 or two in, but there have been days I put in, over $1,000. You know what I'm saying? But where's that money coming from? It's coming from the flow. You need to understand it comes from the flow. So that's really important that I have enough strength to keep the flow going strong. So
Urgency.
so that's why I'm saying I'm going to speak to everyone and say, I feel bad for you if your intention is to get there and you miss it somehow, but it's not the end of the world. It's just one meeting, right? But on the other hand, if we get to the point where there's like zero flow for too long, and then I can't pay the bills, and then what? What do we do then? Yeah, I mean, you understand what I got? These are the business dynamics I'm
Yeah.
dealing with. So I hope you can be sensitive to that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw.
So I've given notice. You've got the rest of today. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right? And for those in the US, you get most of Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? For those in the East, you have pretty much all of Tuesday. So you got 5 days to figure out how to, raise $100 and then put it into your wallet so you can make that purchase to get in. Okay. So crunch time.
Hey, Ace.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
Ace.
Yes, darling.
This is Marlene again. We're on a broadcast, so I personally do not like to discuss what I really want to say to you
Yeah, we could do it
on this
one-on-one. Yeah,
platform.
I'm always open to
So
one-on-one,
I can,
darling. Yeah.
right, I prefer to talk to you one on one because you got to realize everybody's situation is different.
Yeah, I
I
do.
can speak on my situation, but at the end of the day, I'm a private person. That's
Yeah.
just me. I'm a private
No,
person.
and I,
But
I think
I
that's
do believe in what
smart.
you're doing.
Yeah.
I do believe in what you're doing, and I'm 110% on this, but I have to look at my situation.
We can do that one-on-one. You have my word that we can do that. Just reach you know how
That
to
I
reach me on Telegram, right?
No, I don't have your information.
All right,
I don't.
it's Bitcoin Ace. I'll put it in the chat. So you can just put the at symbol
Okay.
in Bitcoin. I've had this Telegram for a long time. So Bitcoin Ace 101. That's me. So watch out for the imposter. The imposter puts like a capital O, instead of a zero, right? It's a little tricky. There's a guy that tries to impersonate me. But that's my Telegram. I put it in the chat. And Steve West, so this is another $100 request on top of the original offer? No, this is not. This is the original $100 thing that we put out a couple of weeks ago, Steve. Okay. All right. So, oh, yeah, there's different promos. Maybe I use $100 on different promos, but this one has to do with the new coin. It's got its own place in the website. Each page has got its own offer, right? Don't confuse that, right? And this is what's hot right now. You want to be a part of the new coin because the new coin is just going to have some flexibility that we don't have otherwise. Right now, we got a couple of websites. You go over here to Pool Funny, and you do a few clicks, and then you maybe make payments in up to three different pools. That takes a couple of minutes. Then that task is done. Then you go over to the lending website, Pool Micro Lending, and do a few clicks there. Maybe you're doing a loan every day. You know what I'm saying? And between the two, maybe 5 minutes of your time has been spent every day between two websites. Now what? Now what do you do? Right? So it's not like the other stuff that we're already doing takes that much time. It doesn't. It could be quite routine, but I believe some of the things we're doing now with the new coin is going to generate a lot of growth. And what we need is momentum and growth. And without growth, we die. Okay. That's how it works. All right, I'll just say yes to you here because I got a message already from you. Add you as a contact. But not right after this call, Darlene. Let's maybe meet if we can we meet maybe tomorrow? Let's just try to set up a time.
That's fine with me, Ace. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Okay, so but what we want to do, guys, is take advantage of the short window of time you have here. Okay. And factor in this. Each of us comes from a different position. Some are better off than others. Okay. So everybody is in their own situation. Take a look at your situation. Is $100 a big deal? For many of you, not a big deal. Have you already made the purchase? If you haven't, why not? The sooner you get that done, the better, actually. Okay. Certainly get that done before Tuesday. We'd like to meet with you. And the you know maximize your position on the new coin. Well, it actually depends on how much PML coin you hold. So the more PML coin you holding or that you purchase, that's going to determine, your size of the pie. How big is your slice of the pie when we divide it all up? Okay. So you want to maximize that as much as possible. And in so doing, if you break it up in part, maybe do like a big chunk at one time, and then maybe do like $1 every day, do some, or $5 every day. I mean, I think Joselito out of Singapore, I think he's doing like $15 every day, and our friend out of Ireland, he does like 4 buys every day. So I'm seeing some leadership here, okay? From people that are coming in to help move the price of PML up, because it's important for us to get to 2 million, okay? And so all of this comes together, and it adds to this. Everything adds up to it, okay? So there you go. All right. So do you guys feel an incentive? How strong is today in the incentive to buy PML? I want to ask you that. How many of you feel incentivized to buy PML as much as you can get?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, you feeling strong incentive there? Good. Okay.
Definitely.
And how many of you are motivated to be part of the new coin community, the original 400 or whatever? How many of you are motivated to do that?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
am
I'm already there. Yes.
definitely. Yes,
All right.
sir.
All right. Very good. Very good. And so everything then comes as a process then that we work through together. But I'm in a hurry. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in a hurry and I want to make things happen as quickly as possible. And then how many of you like the legs idea that I presented to you today as one of the options inside of the marketplace? You like that? Can you guys
Yes.
sell leads? That's a pretty easy way to sell leads. And 50% commission, a pretty good deal, you know? So there you go. And of course that could turn into, other stuff later, but and then that could just mean higher commissions as well. I'm okay with 50% all day long. So good. All right. So I appreciate all of you coming to another one of our trainings. We do this on every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see here. Today, what should we highlight today? Should we say buy PML? I mean, that's what we want people to do right now, right? Everybody unmute and say buy PML.
Buy
PML.
PML.
Buy PML.
Lots and
Bye.
lots of PML.
PML.
Eat the biggest share pie you
As
can
much as
get.
you can.
Yeah.
As
Go
much
for
as
the
you
go
can.
for the big slice.
Yeah.